is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Welcome aboard. It is Thursday. You know where we're at. We are at Hialeah Park. Yes, sir, where we give you $100. Your no regret first bet. Use that code right there. Just grab that phone and use it right there, man. No regret first bet. Open up your account. Remember, as we always tell you, if you already have a Hard Rock account, then use a different email or a different phone number, and you will get your no regret first bet $100 here at Hialeah Park. So welcome aboard. It is Thursday, March 28th. Sean Stanley, of course, the man that masters the platform every single day. We are going to rock and roll here for the next couple of hours. Michelle Kaufman, by the way, will join us later on, talk a little Inter Miami, because that is something that's going on. Baseball is going on, too, at 4 o'clock. 4:10, opening day, man. Yes, Mitch Keller versus Jesus Luzardo. So we will find out what's going on with the Marlins. I don't expect much from the Marlins, but I mean, that's kind of, I think that's the best way to approach the Marlins season, is to not expect too much. And if the kids surprise you, you know, it's great. It's fantastic if they surprise you. If they don't, it's kind of what you expected, right? Yeah. 162-0. I like it. I like it. There you go, Sean. Undefeated season for the Marlins. 162-0. I like it. I like it. I like it. So we got that. We got I don't know, not a lot on the Dolphins side, to be quite honest, because it's just, there's really not a lot to talk about. But I do have something that it's kind of food for thought, a little bit, and I think that this offseason kind of opens the door for what I want to talk about too on the program. Also, what's it called? Then we got some stuff going on locally. I'm watching the Nova Southeastern game against University of San Bernardino in California. They are leading them at halftime. They are in the Final Four, 53-40. Remember, they've won the national title before. So, what's it called? Man, you know what? I got like a stuffy nose. Give me a 2-minute break here, okay? All right.
O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. Apologies. I don't know. I just got kind of like a stuffy nose all of a sudden. So I had to make sure, I'm not going to do it on air and clean myself up here a little bit. So we good now. We're ready to rock and roll. Appreciate all of you as always. We got the local games going on. We got the Panthers back in action tonight. Heat tomorrow are back in the mix. Inter Miami. So Michelle will join us so we can talk about all the Inter Miami stuff going on, because there's a lot of stuff going on with Inter Miami, actually. That is relevant, and there's a lot of news going on with that. So we'll get to that. And we got some other things that will bounce around. As always, we are here at Hialeah Park. So if you guys want to come on by and say hi, we always appreciate that. Let's see. I see Miles Deep first in up in Vegas. Omar Lopez, Steven Gonzalez, Dude 67, Coach AJ, One-Eyed Jack, Brian Landis, Daniel Barry, J-Town, Brian Walters. Oh, have you looked into Proppy yet? I got some at 52 cents. It's now $2.12. No, I have not. I have not looked into Proppy at all. I don't even know what Proppy is, to be quite honest. People still watch the Marlins. It sucks, right? It sucks. I still watch them, dude, because I love all my hometown teams, right? It's not your fault. It's not my fault. And the problem with the Marlins is a problem that runs deep. But their solution is actually, it's right there in front of them. It's called the Florida Panthers, bro. So let me ask you something. So far in the history of the Marlins, have they given a contract like they did to Barkov that's like 9 years and he's going to retire here? He ain't going anywhere. Right? Huh? Right, they do, but they trade him. Exactly. So all Marlins fans are just scorned. They're like, scorned lovers, male or female. Your partner just continues to fail you over and over and over. Some of you, you make a mistake, you give them a break, okay. But the Marlins don't make one mistake. They didn't make a mistake one time. No. They're so habitual that, what's the name of the dude that Chloe breaks up with and all the time, and he's got like 800 baby mamas? The power forward, the center, huh? Tristan Thompson. The Marlins are more unfaithful than Tristan Thompson. And that's unfaithful right there. I mean, he's cheated on Chloe like 406 times. And she's taken him back 407. And that's kind of what the Marlins have done to you. So when they commit to a Kachuk, when they commit to bringing in a goaltender at $10 million a year for 7 years, and brother, they suck it up, and they're all in, and they're not crying, they're not pointing fingers, they're not saying we're poor, none of that shit. You don't hear Viola or Sifu ever whining like little bitches about what they don't have. And so they go out and spend money on their players. They trade for stars, superstars. Okay? They build practice facilities. This is out of their money. And so they help even improve the Fort Lauderdale area with the War Memorial. So, and guess what they've been rewarded with years later after a long-term commitment. Packed houses now. So I don't want to hear the Marlins whine like little bitches. Oh, well, no, we do this. No, you don't do shit. You don't commit to anything. You don't prove to. You can't earn your partner's trust by mistrust all the time. And that's kind of what you want. Now, with the Panthers, do you ever think they're going to have fire sales? No, right? No, those sons of bitches are going to look how to add something else, right? And add something else. And how can we squeeze this? And how can we, same thing the Dolphins are doing, same thing the Heat are doing. Even if the Heat can't trade for a star dude, they're trying to win. Whether you agree with Terrible Terry's move or not, they're doing it with the act of trying to win. You know, as Ira so eloquently put it the other day on the show, they knew that Jimmy couldn't carry. So they've got to go find something, because if not, the season's going to go awry. And Terry's kind of saved your ass several times. But you can't fault the Heat for trying. And they make mistakes, but they try. And they don't whine like little bitches about that they don't have this money and they can't do that. And that's all we get from the Marlins. So if the media, writers, radio, TV, if fans can't see that, and if the Marlins can't see that, I can't help you, because hockey is not higher on the totem pole in the United States than baseball. Baseball is still ahead of hockey overall. But in this town, baseball's behind. And why? They make no commitment. So how do they expect you to make a commitment? So that's why the Marlins get what they deserve, unfortunately, because they don't have the money to make the sacrifice. Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu have the money, right? And they have great people, Matt Caldwell and everything else, but they have the money. So they make the commitment to show the public, hey, we're here for real, dude. We're here. We're gonna draft players. We're gonna develop them, and if they're really good, we're gonna keep them. And so, Verhaeghe's great. Well, we're gonna keep them. And now, guess who's next? Reinhardt. And they'll keep him too, because that's their star. And that's where Panther fans can go buy a jersey. They can buy a Kachuk jersey without thinking that, here's Stanton, here's Ozuna, here's Yelich, here's everybody else. Derek Lee, Mike Lowe, what's it called? I love you, Miami. The pitcher. Huh? The Cuban pitcher. I love you, huh? Yeah. Hernandez. Yeah, you're thinking about Levon, and right, exactly. I'm thinking Levon, whatever. Beckett, AJ Burnett, whatever. They all leave. Juan Pierre, they all leave. We trade them all away. We get rid of all of them. They go help somebody else. And that's all you know. That's all I know. They've never done what the Panthers have done. So I don't have to ask the Marlins to be the Dolphins. I don't have to ask them to be the Heat right now. Nothing. Now, what's Inter Miami doing? Bro, they're spending out of their ass for players. Maybe they're not doing it the right way because it's like very top heavy, very offensive, not very defensive, which is kind of hurting them. But they're trying their best, bro. They're bringing you Messi and Suarez. Like, shit. And they don't cry poor. They just build their own stadiums. They build their own practice facilities. They build their own academies. And you never hear the Moss brothers cry poor. But that's all we ever hear from baseball, bro. And that's because baseball doesn't have ever somebody on that end that really says, okay, no. I got the money. I got the power. Okay? I'm going to just spend the money. and I'm going to wait. I have the money that I can wait on the returns. And nobody's done that in baseball. Vinny Viola's got the money. He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. So to him, it doesn't matter. He can wait. And now it's starting to turn around. Now they're probably turning a pretty profit because the arena's packed every night now. So now they're selling all their merchandise. Now they're selling out. They're selling their suites. They're selling the liquor. They're selling everything now. So now they're making money. But they've made their commitment that when you look at the Panthers right now, they're the best franchise in town. At this moment right now in the live race, they are the best franchise in town. And so Marlins have the perfect example. All they got to do is look north there at sunrise and say, if we do that, this town will reward us. But if we keep doing what we're doing, this town they already figured us out. You know, the jig is up, as they say. And all this window dressing that you do every year to start the season and all that, it don't mean shit, dude. Because there's no star power. You know, we either have our stars on the field or our stars getting raided by Homeland Security. That's right. I mean, that's how we have our stars here, right? They're either on the field, on the ice, on the pitch, or they're somewhere on Star Island getting raided by Homeland Security. But that's where we like our stars. On South Beach, on the Fashion District, Star Island, Homeland Security, on the pitch, on the ice, on the field. You know, that's where we like our stars. On the concert stage. You know, we are a town of stars. Right? We get Rolling Loud, and we get the biggest rappers in the world to come here and do their concerts. At one of the biggest rap festivals in the world. I believe it's top 5. I think it's top 3. I think Rolling Loud has become the top 3 in hip hop. But anyway, either way, stars everywhere. That's how we like it in this town. And where are the stars for the Marlins? There are no stars. And there's no actual guarantee that any stars will stick around. I mean, look at Soler. He played his way out of that contract, and he said, brother, exit stage left. And he was gone. You know? And no, you can't have that. And that's because you've created that environment that nobody in the end really wants to stay with you. So, no excuses for the Marlins. Shayna, they bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash. George says, Big O, hi from Italy. That is beautiful, George. I love it. Do you live there or are you visiting there, George? Okay, either way, I'm impressed. If you live there and watch the show, dude, I love you. That's freaking awesome. And by the way, the wife and I will be visiting Italy soon. Got to take her to Italy one day. So that's pretty cool. By the way, you know that all over Italy, you know they sell homes there for $1. Did you know that? So in Italy, now there's a catch. I just want you to know it's not so simple, okay? But there's several towns because I don't know if you guys know this, but Italy is the country in the world that is kind of like declining faster than most, okay? Young people have left, so they have less future for innovation and everything else because young people continue to leave. There are certain countries like that suffer from these kind of things. You know what I mean? And so it stunts them. Venezuela suffers from that. Several countries suffer from that because they don't have a great environment. So young people, they don't have a future, so they leave. And by them leaving, then that creates an imbalance for each country. You know what I'm saying? Japan is actually having that problem too, by the way, but for other reasons because they stopped producing kids. But that's, okay, as I digress, this is too much deep shit to get into at the moment. But in basics, for Italy, they've got certain towns that they have been so decimated by population that they offer homes for $1. Now, these homes you can turn them into beauties, but you got to turn them into beauties because that's the other problem too, because they are run down. So they're going to need a lot. They give you $1, but you can take the home and you got, hey, wow, I got a 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 square feet, whatever. Oh, it's got a beautiful terrace. I can look out into, but it's effed up and you got to fix it. And remember, these things are old. So then the construction, the plumbing, the electricity, all those kind of things. And so, I've looked into it myself. So, but it's cool because they, you might find a gem, but you got to be a handyman or a handy woman. And if you're not that, then you got to hire people and then, construction costs and all those kind of things. But literally they are selling homes in Italy for $1.
Sounds like a reality show on DIY.
Yeah. And they've made some stuff like that on it. Probably. I've seen the people that are trying to, redo their homes where at first it was like a nightmare for them. And then they okay, well, after everything, but be ready because it's a mission and all that kind of crap and all that. But yeah, so Italy is one of those places.
You get land with the house or how?
Yeah, bro.
Is everybody on top of each other? Is it like Hialeah or is it?
No, yeah, very Hialeah-ish. Yeah, you have them.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're kind of connected. That's kind of a thing in those.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because
the way it's
in
constructed.
That area.
Yeah, it's kind of they are connected.
You're right.
But again, there might be some that are separate. There might be some that have land. You get the whole property. Now you have to then,
take care of
restore
that
it.
property. Yeah,
Yes.
restore it. Okay.
It's kind of an agreement that's
where they
part
get
of it.
you, right? They get it to you for
Yeah.
$1, and then they're going to charge you $2.5 million to renovate.
Yeah. So yeah, Italy is one of those places. So a lot of expats are moving to Italy. Actually, that's one of those places that a lot of people will move and then try to buy a home and fix it up. But again, mission. Oh, he's visiting on a train right. Wow, you're a stud, dude. You're a freaking stud. You're visiting in Italy and you've taken the time to watch us. Honored. Big time. Brent, now bring me some pasta.
Right. Truly honored, but I have to question, what was the agenda, the itinerary?
He's on a train.
While he's in Italy.
He's on a train, so he's probably traveling from one place to another. So now he gets to, while he's watching the scenery, he's listening to us or watching us. So that's pretty cool.
100% cool, but I just got to question that,
I love it. That's pretty cool.
What is the time over there right now?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what the time change is. Yeah, that's a good question right now. Yeah. Baseball hasn't been the same since the Dodgers and the Giants left New York. Well, I mean, I'm not going to go that bad. Yeah, that Rosendo, that's like, wow, eres cubano. Exagerando un poco, chico. Eh? Anyway, no, I wouldn't go that far, Rosendo. Okay. I'm going to say that after the steroid era, that's where kind of baseball hit the gap between the haves and the have-nots, just it became a canyon. And so now it's just a different ball game. I wouldn't go that far to, Brooklyn and all that shit.
What's funny to me is
we have great memories with the Dodgers in LA, man.
Yeah, the earthquake game.
Well, that's in San Fran, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But what I'm saying is
the Dodgers
hit the
home run, right?
No, but all the Lasorda years, and there's a lot of great Dodger years, dude.
There's quite a few, but
yeah, and the Giants too.
The interesting thing to me is that, to me, baseball started sliding down when they started going away from the offense.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they did
switch.
opposite of what the NFL did. NFL's like, give us points, give us points, give us points.
Yeah.
They went to the art of the game, pitching, and
yeah, they dumbed it down to just strikeouts or home runs.
Yes.
And then the player lost. We don't see players that are.
It took the art of hitting it to the opposite field, dropping the bunt.
Yeah.
All those plays,
stealing bases, manufacturing runs, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that the art of baseball was lost.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that to me, I agree with that. That's kind of it's the last 25 years that kind of have effed up the game, to be quite honest. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? Let's see. There's a dedication towards trying to win with Inter and the Panthers. Can't say the same for the Marlins. No, it's 100% right, Ray. I mean, only a moron would argue with you on that. All our teams show a dedication to winning, except the Marlins. All four of them. Every one of them, they are busting their asses in whatever situation they're in. But they're busting their asses to try to win. And you have to respect that out of all of our four out of our 5 teams. But not with the Marlins. So that's the difference. Captain Saki in the house. What's up, baby? Appreciate you as always. Stephen Webb, Los Angeles, New York City area, Las Vegas, Bay Area, Miami. He gave us the top 5. Oh, the rolling live. That's what it's. Okay. There you go. Big O, you can pick one altcoin to invest in long term. Which one are you going for? Pendle or Polkadot? Well, see, here's the problem, my brother. Pendle right now. So let me explain to you something. So we're kind of like on the same page here. So Pendle right now is at $4.28. So are you talking to the guy that got it at $1.34? Or are you talking about somebody that's going to pick it up now at $4.28? You understand what I'm saying? So if you're picking it up at $4.28, you already missed 3x. You understand? So now when I look at Polkadot and when I look at Pendle, remember when I told you about Pendle at $1.30 something, it was like just over $500 million, like 600 million or something like that. You look at Pendle now, the market cap now is 980. It's approaching $1 billion. Okay. So we're already climbing to a point that, okay, in order for it to get to, in order to double your money now, you've got to get to $2 billion pretty much to get to 860. Okay. Now, Polkadot, if we go to Polkadot's already established. Polkadot 2 is about to be installed. And Polkadot right now is down at $9.59 because it was like at $11, I think, or something like that. Let me see. $11.70 on March 14th. Okay. So this was $11.70 at March 14th. So right now it's at 9.5 and market cap is 13.5 billion. So the question is, can you get first to $27 billion before you get to $2 billion with Pendle? If you're looking on the short term, probably Pendle. If you're looking on the long term, and I'm talking about 2 years down the line, Polkadot. Okay? Because Pendle right now, with what they're doing, they don't really have a lot of competition because nobody is offering the derivatives and DeFi platforms like they're doing where you can actually control your return. Most of the time, you cannot control your return. And so the fluctuation leaves a really, it becomes a bigger gamble. Here, where you can control, where you know exactly what you're getting in return, they've done something that nobody else is doing. So I really like what Pendle's doing. That's why I got on it. Short-term Pendle, long-term polka dot. That's what I'm going to go. Okay, because I think polka dot ends up at $100 when it's all said and done. Okay, over $100. Polka dot is going to be one of the great chains that we're going to have. Behind Ethereum, Polkadot's going to be battling there with Cardano and Solana and all these other ones moving forward. You'll see. So I'll answer it that way. Okay. And that's what you always got to look at. Look at market cap, because where you're at investing and then where it's at, you need to flip that in order to get the number you want from there. And if you want something that's 10 cents and you wanted to get to $1, that's 10x. You go look at the market cap and say, well, wait a minute, if it's already at 5 billion, is it going to go to 50 billion? That's kind of unrealistic. Yeah, no, maybe there isn't going to be a 10x here. So you got to make sure you look at those kind of things. It was either Big O or listen to stories from the mother-in-law, says Manuel Goico. Expansion, baseball killed it. Well, the style of baseball is brutal. Karoon says, I have an idea, Big O. You have a map of the entire world in the background somewhere. Anytime someone says they're listening to you from a country, you put a thumbtack on said country. Well, I don't know. Do I do that? Do I do that? I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of crap in here, bro. What do you want me to tell you? I try to share all the fountain of crap that I have coming out of my head. Pretty much. Information that, it's so important for you to know that there actually are houses for $1 in Italy. How many of you, by the way, went and Googled it? Open a window, Google it, and share it with us. Can you buy a house for $1 in Italy? Okay. Sean just looked. Oh, you're talking to me? Oh, sorry. By the way, they're giving away a Ford electric car, and they do have the loosest slots in the state. So come on out here, and at the end of the month on the Saturday, the 30th, yeah, it comes out. I know it does. I'm not crazy, dude. If I tell you something, it's because it's there, dude. I'm not a bullshitter, man.
A new house and potentially a whole new life for sale in sun-kissed rural Italy for the princely sum of €1 or a little over $1. Over the past year or so, numerous small towns from Sicily in the southern to the northern Alps have been offering such bargains in the hope of attracting new residents to revitalize dying communities.
What can I tell you, bro? We're just not all sports here, bro. We're not just one sport. We're life. We're crypto. We dabble all over the place. The mind goes everywhere, I think it's also my age, because I find myself that there are other things that I'm interested in, and it's not just a TV show and not just some kind of reality show or some shit or some entertainment show, which I watch all that other stuff, not really the reality stuff, but I kind of like watching about other things going on in the world and seeing what the hell is going on. It's just weird like that. But enjoy Italy, man. Dying to take the wife there, man. Can't wait to take the wife there one day. Big O, but it's $1 plus taxes for a house in Italy. It's $1, and then there's an agreement that you're going to, remodel the house. So they believe that once you remodel the house, oh, by the way, if I also believe, if you look into it, there's like a $3,000 deposit, right? Because they want to make sure that you're not like getting it for $1 and trying to go turn it over and sell it for
$500 to somebody else or $1,000, and then they inspect it to make sure you remodeled it, and then they give you back the $3,000. I think it's like $3,000 or something like that. Don't don't hold me to that exact number, but there is a deposit behind that because that ensures them that you're going to be, dude, they really want you to become a resident. So that's kind of like the give and take from it. You know, the freaking country's dying. It's freaking dying. It's older and older and older every year. Young people are gone, bro, in Italy. It's actually a really cool thing if you think about it, living in Italy. It's actually not a bad thing, especially for retirement. But again, it's a mission that you got to remodel a whole house and all that, you know? But yeah. It's not good what's going on there for them, unfortunately. Ocala Joe is in the house. Big O, I just wish there was a better understanding the complex way of buying directly from my Trezor or Tangent wallets. YouTube explanations are very complicated. Really? But it's easy on Tangent and Trezor. Once you connect in fact, on Trezor, you can do it through your Apple Wallet. You can connect your Apple Wallet on Trezor, and I believe you can connect it also on. I haven't bought crypto in a while on my Trezor, but on Tangent and on Exodus, I buy it easy, dude. And you could use it. You could tie your Apple account to it, so that way you have your credit cards to your Apple, and then boom, really easy. So I would suggest you try to use your Apple account to tie it to your Tangent, and it'll be a lot easier that way. I wish I could like sit down and walk you through it, you know, and show you easily how to do it. It's not that difficult, man. It really try to do that. Tie your Apple Pay to it, and it'll make it a lot easier. So I'm glad you keep politics out. No, I never will, bro. I like bashing Democrats and Republicans too much. I'll never keep that out, my brother. It's too fun. They're too easy targets. So you'll have to live with that on the show. If you don't like it, I can't do anything about it. You know, what can I do? Once you learn about Bitcoin, trust me. Once you learn about Bitcoin, you will never choose a side again. You will choose human side. That's what you'll choose. You won't choose any more donkeys and elephants and reds and blues, and you will not choose a damn thing. Learn about Bitcoin, and you'll see, my brother. It's a beautiful thing. You'll be comfortable about like not caring about either side, you know, and that's where I'm at. I don't care about either side. Really don't care about it. Don't care about your feelings on it. I just don't care. I really don't, man. I really don't. You know, I think it's silly. By the way, the fair is here through April 7th, and they open weekdays at 4 p.m., weekends at noon. Well, spring break. So is it this weekend also spring break? I don't know if this week. Well, yeah. Yeah, so we're in this spring break, right? So then next week, I don't know how it goes for next week, but noon during spring break, guests 5 and under and 65 plus are free. And by the way, you can get unlimited ride tickets, which we gave away six pairs of those, six family 4-packs of those. That's 24 of them, by the way. You can buy tickets online at Sedano's when you arrive there, so you can avoid the lines. Go to fairexpo.com. Parking is free, so you never have to worry. They've got over 80 rides, really cool rides, and they've got over 130 food stands. So go check it out. We love it. Be there. The fair. We'll be out of there. We'll be out there next Wednesday. One more time at the fair. Let's see. Not a bad idea to retire in Italy being a contractor. Oh, you are? Oh, dude, then yeah, you're a badass. Exactly. Yeah, because you know your shit, bro. So for you, all you got to do is go and explore what town you like the best, because there's several towns in Italy. And then you got to go personally and go check out those neighborhoods and each house that's available. And then you can pick the one you like the most, because you know what's you're going to know more than an idiot like me that knows nothing about that shit. So yeah, dude. Yeah, and you'll save yourself a lot of money. I'll end up spending a lot more.
Some of the things, there's a transferable tax that you have to pay, and there's a timetable that you're allotted to make sure that the renovations are done.
Yeah, I know.
Like you can't just buy it now and then
Right? No,
wait.
dude.
It's between 1 to 3 years depending on where you're at and which area you purchase.
They're dying.
Yeah, no.
They don't have time
Yeah.
for you.
No,
Either
gotcha.
you make the commitment. They're already giving it to you.
Yeah.
They're literally giving you a property. So it's just up to you now to, it's a fix me up.
Yeah,
That's all.
and everything is depending on which region and area you get, depending on the pricing. I mean, other than like the taxes and things, not
Right.
the dollar.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's a cool thing. I've seen it before in the past. You never know what you can explore down the line when you're looking at life. That's kind of the way it goes. Let's do our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics, custom printing and embroidery. Tonight at Amerant Bank Arena, Islanders and Panthers. Cats, by the way, favored by 1.5 goals, plus 130 there. Over and under is 6. We're back. All right. All right. We are back. And again, our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Right now going on, Nova is leading San Bernardino 68-65, 8:46 left in the second half. What's it called? At 4:10 today, Marlins open up the season. Pirates and the Marlins, Mitch Keller, Jesus Luzardo on the mound, towing the slab. And on Saturday, Inter back in action. They are at Chase Stadium. They are hosting NYC FC, 7:30. I believe no Messi, but we'll find out from Michelle Kaufman Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no Messi.
I know yesterday she was saying he was individual.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Yeah, he's not playing this week. And so Messi probably will not play. We'll talk to Michelle at 4:00 and we'll kind of get, the whole deal. By the way, in crypto wise, which we have not given you any info and love on the Bitcoin front, it's been holding strong, 70,870 right now. So it's been holding somewhere in the 69, 70 area, 71. It went to 71.5 today. It's kind of a resistance. When it breaks, it's going to run, and it's going to run way past the 73. By the way, Nigel Pack is returning to UM for a 5th season, as Michelle is reporting now. So that's good for the Canes. Huh? Yeah, they got him a bag. Yeah, that makes sense. They probably got him a bag. Yeah, I would go with that one. So she reported that, and they signed Marcelo Wigant the Argentine right back from Boca Juniors. So that's to help out defense. So we'll talk to Michelle about that one too. Okay. So we got that going. And by the way, on the crypto side, Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, got 25 years in prison. Not enough, but I guess we'll take that. You know? Let's see. Ocala Joe, that's why I appreciate you. Thank you, Ocala Joe. Does that mean if you retire to Italy, you have to become an Italian citizen? Yeah, it gives you an in to become a citizen. Yes. Yeah, so you get another passport. So it's pretty cool. Then you have dual passports and you can bounce around. You can go from the United States to Italy. And then from Italy, you can then go visit other countries. You know what I mean? It's not, I mean, if you can afford it, if you can do it, dude, it's not a bad idea. Okay. So it's not a bad change of life for a few years to live in Italy and kind of be able to go to, enjoy parts of Europe and all that, have it at your disposal right there. I think it's a pretty freaking cool thing, bro.
They have McDonald's over in Italy?
Yeah, they got it. Yeah.
Are they partnered with Krispy Kreme too, or is that just a U.S.
Oh,
thing?
well, I can't promise you that.
Okay, all right. I have to look into that before I make a decision.
I can't promise you that. Brian goes, I'm looking into it. Thanks for the info. There you go. Can you order American takeout food in Italy and get Uber Italy? I'm sure they have Uber, but, depends. Italy, the bomb, best food on the planet. Exactly. God. Right? And you can get to go to those mom and pop restaurants where you're not really going to pay an arm and a leg. And some of those Italian towns are on the coast. Oh, they are fantastic, bro. They got some views. Again, if you're like Brian, that he's a contractor, shit, dude. You got that. That gives you the in. By the way, Nova leading 69-65, 7:45, 70-65, 7:45 left in the second half, and they just stole the ball and got another basket. So now they got a 7-point lead. That is very nice for the Sharks. Let's see if they can continue. What happened? We got bad news or something?
Yeah. Uber Eats in Italy has been discontinued as of June 16th, 2023. They do have Uber service, though. So, I mean, you can hop in a vehicle and go get your own food, but no Uber to bring you the food.
Bro, if I'm in Italy, I ain't Ubering shit, bro.
But it makes sense, though, because they said because of the low growth in Italy, just didn't make sense to keep doing it because, again, the population probably isn't ordering Uber Eats.
No, it's older. It's older. So they're all cooking.
Yeah. And plus the food, as someone else said, the food's so good over there. Bro, you're not going to be sitting there like...
Yeah, bro. I'm going to go to a local cafe or something.
That's what I'm saying. And then also, like you said, the architecture, everything else, you just go out there and...
you're
not sitting there. And it's not like here where it's like, hey, let me order a steak from so-and-so. And
seriously, you look at some of those towns, they're cool little towns, and where they're at and the views and all that shit, it's breathtaking, man. It's pretty cool. By the way, you could just YouTube it if you want. There are several other countries, especially if you're young, that will pay you to move there. You know what I mean? So, and by the way, there are countries that will offer you, incentives if you provide certain services. Something professional, whatever it is, from architecture to education to medicine. So, business, technology. Certain businesses, if you look at it, some countries will entice you to come on over, and you bring your business over, and they will roll out the red carpet for you, taxes and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of breaks. So it's pretty cool because there's a lot of countries that are suffering and they're not growing, so they need people to move from other places to help them grow.
Here's a list of the countries that'll pay you to move. Now, again, this is just that will pay you to move, not necessarily everything in general. This is just the list of the ones that will. Italy, Chile, Ireland, Switzerland, Spain, Canada, Greece, Denmark, New Zealand, Ponga villages of Spain, Mauritius, the USA.
Mauritius.
Mauritius? Thanks, sorry.
Mauritius is a beautiful island off the African coast. God, that is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Antikythera Island?
And let me see it.
Antikythera Island?
I don't know that island.
Okay, well, that one there, Alaska, Austria, Sark, Vietnam, Sicily, Portugal, Thailand, and Tangata.
Yeah, Thailand's hot, but very, very, very affordable. What were the top ones that you said at the beginning?
Hold on a minute. Italy, Chile, Ireland,
Chile,
Switzerland.
You may want to stay away from Chile right now
Spain,
because they got
and
some
Canada.
issues. Spain is beautiful, but the Spain countries, the part of Spain that's available is not Madrid. It's kind of out in the okay. Just so you'll know, what's the other ones?
Greece, Denmark, New Zealand.
Greece is another country that is struggling also, and there are opportunities there. But again, it might be, it's a beautiful place to visit. What else?
Yeah, you know what? Somebody just said Sicily is Italy, and
yes,
they had Sicily on here too. So
yeah,
not sure why there, but I said Denmark, New Zealand, Alaska, Austria, Vietnam, Portugal, Thailand.
Yeah, Vietnam is a really cool place because you can live there for cheap, super cheap in Vietnam. Just they've got the hot weather there. That's the only thing.
West Virginia paying you $20,000 to move there right now.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no. Big O, Bitcoin believers at the Hard Rock during the playoffs cheering the Finns near their cheerleaders. Yes, no, maybe. I don't get it. What Bitcoin believers at the Hard Rock during the playoffs cheering the Finns near the cheerleaders? Yes, no. Well, probably cheering on the cheerleaders. Yeah, Bitcoiners. Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, I mean, is it? How many Bitcoiners are like me? Well, actually, some of you have become Bitcoin. Some of you have been orange pilled, and you're Dolphin fans like me. So there's a few of us. One of these days, I'll go to Italy to see where my family is from, says One-Eyed Jack. Interesting. Damn. You walk to town and eat some pasta. That's it, baby. I believe Portugal and Croatia is doing the same. No, dude, Portugal doesn't need you. Portugal will give you breaks if you're bringing business over. But their visa is like one of the most popular visas in the world because moving to Porto and Lisbon, I think is the other one. Oh my God, Portugal is gorgeous, dude. People are flocking to Portugal. Yeah, no, they don't need like Portugal and Malta. They don't need your ass. They've got people lined up, and it's super expensive to get a visa in Malta. But Portugal, they used to have the golden visa, and I think they eliminated their golden visa, and so now you can do it, but it's not as simple, by the way. So, but no, they're not paying you to go to Portugal. Mostly, that's not some that they don't need it. They don't need it at all. Portugal's badass, bro. Portugal's a great place to live. Great place to live. Amazing. As maybe you could tell, I've been kind of looking into this stuff all over the place. It just happens to be a subject that I kind of know something about because I've kind of been looking at, places all over the world and studying all that kind of stuff and where they're at and what the economics and politics and crime and, all that kind of stuff that you got to look at and weather, all that kind of stuff. By the way, Nova is leading 80-71 with 4:16 left in the Division II Final Four. So hopefully they can get the win and get it done. By the way, FAU has moved on. John Jackas replaces Dusty May at FAU. He's 48 years old. This guy was a Baylor assistant head coach, associate head coach, working under Scott Drew at Baylor, and then Mark Few at Gonzaga. So he's got some pretty good bloodlines, some people. He's been around some successful programs. Let's put it that way in basketball. He's been around some successful coaches, and FAU, dude, if you've watched the history of FAU, they have always done their best to bring the best coach possible there. Whatever they thought, whether it was Jarvis Green or Rex Walters or Sidney Green or whatever, or, Dusty May, or just coaches over the years, if I start thinking about all the names, and they've always made an effort for that. Kudos to them on that. And it looks like with John Jackas, they found themselves a guy that's got the pedigree. So it's pretty cool. Have you tried the food in Greece? Amazing. I got to go there first. Oh, you mean you love Greek food? Oh, you love Greece in food. Okay. Only Sean could say Greece in food. Yeah. No, but I have gone to Greek restaurants. I've tried my gyros and all that kind of stuff. I do like Greek food. Okay. Yeah. I will. But the day I am blessed to take my lovely wife to Greece. That's another place that, when I took her to Paris, when you think about romantic places that you want to take your loved one, right? Paris is number one, right? It's like right up there. I don't know if it's number one for you, but I think it might be number one for me. Okay. Greece has got to be somewhere in your top 5 or top 10, I would imagine. Right. And so that's kind of that's one of those places that I am dying to go to, man. It just looks like a really fun place. And the food and the people, the vibe, all of that. It's really cool. It was really sad 2 years ago when they were dealing with all those fires, because shit, dude, even like some of the monuments. Hell, I even think Mount Olympus was like at risk and stuff like that. Like some of these incredible monuments were at risk because of the fires were spreading all over Greece. That was kind of sad a couple of years ago. Luckily, nothing of significance, like those artifacts burned down. That was the cool thing. But yeah, I'm dying to go to Greece myself, dude. I've never been there. Orlando, the wife and I went to Barcelona and Rome last year. I got to say, not bueno. Almost got mugged and pickpocketed. Yeah, that's the sad part about going out of the country. You got to be really alert, and you got to pack, and you got to prepare yourself where you can't get pickpocketed, and you've got to be alert on that. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. And that could happen, by the way, in Paris. That can happen in Greece. That can happen anywhere. And that's that's the other thing that I've kind of learned. When we all travel, we got to learn to dress like the locals, because we end up dressing so touristy, we stand out like turds in punch bowls. It's like, whoa, there he is. There she is. And we got the fanny pack, and we got the Paris hat, and we got, and we're loud, and it's like you got to kind of learn to dress like wherever you're going, and kind of go under the radar and not bring attention that you're a tourist. And that's the sad part, that when we go on these places, we kind of expose ourselves that we're tourists. And it's the weird thing. And some of us, maybe what we need to do is kind of study where we're going, and then kind of maybe have some clothes that kind of fit what goes there, and you kind of blend in with the normal people, and maybe they mistaken you for normal people instead of a tourist, and then you're not a target. So that would be one of the things that, like, my daughter went traveling recently, and I told her, don't dress like you dress here. Okay? Dress down. She was like, what? And I go, yeah, dress down. No jewelry, no nothing. Dress down. Okay? You got jeans that are torn? Fantastic. You got shirts that are worn? Awesome. Go see what they're wearing in that country. I'm not going to say the country. And I said, go look at it. And she did that. And she like got no looks like a tourist because we dress and act completely different wherever we go, and we stand out. So we have to try to bring as least attention to ourselves as much as possible when we travel. That is one thing that will help you, I think, in traveling. Okay. So, again, not a travel expert, not a financial expert, not a health expert, just a dude doing a show. That's all I can tell you. Okay. All right. FAU basketball and football have done their best to bring notable coaches. Yes, they have. Mediterranean food is just the best. Greek are so very friendly. Yeah. Yeah, I'm dying to go, man. It's a great vibe there. I would not travel to Russia, Rosendo. That would be absolutely and catastrophically stupid. At this point, like you've got to be a king-size moron to think that Russia's a good place to go to visit. There is no chance in hell I am going to Russia. Okay? Yo no pedí nada en Rusia. So no, I am not. I'm just not visiting a country that's all communist and screwed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that. If I'm going to go somewhere, I kind of want it to be free. I want the people to like have an opinion, have a choice, be able to travel in and out of that country. That's kind of the place I want to go. I don't want to go somewhere where when I get there, I got to watch everything that I do and say, or they're watching me or whatever. Yeah, no, that's not really what I'd like to do, my brother. That's not really a vacation. You know what that reminds me of, Rosendo? Going to Cuba with my dad in the 80s. That's what it reminds me of. Send Michelle a reminder, please. Anyway, let me see if she's sending me something. Ocala Joe, thank you, sir. You're a stud, by the way. And Cash App, thank you. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Very kind of you. Okay. So I went to Cuba 4 times back in the 80s when I was a youngin, like 82, 81, 82, like 83, maybe 84. Like I went like 4 times, like in a stretch of 4 or 5 years with the old man. And he would go to take stuff to his family, or our family, obviously. And so a couple of times while we were there, it was like they were following my dad around everywhere. And why? Because my dad escaped back in the late 50s. And then he went to the army. And then when he got out of the army, he went in the middle of the night in the early 60s and went and got my mom and brought her out and all that. And then, whatever. And so, and then in Mariel, he was also able to get his brother and my grandfather and grandmother and all that kind of stuff, and brought him here. He did 5 trips to Mariel, loaded with criminals from prison. But because he went several times, they gave him a break and gave him his family because he took a bunch of garbage. And so obviously he has like a track record. You know what I'm saying? And so they're not stupid. And so when he was there, it was like a paranoia, dude. They took him in for interrogation. So we didn't see him for like 10 hours. It was like a freaky thing, dude. And so they let him go, and everything was fine. And we after that, we came back twice again. He was like balls, like, no, I'm going to go see my parents. So, tough dude, my dad. Anyway, so yeah, that's probably what I would feel like going there. Like you're being watched all the time. And, I'd feel like Rockwell. Somebody's watching me. All right. Hour number 2. And Michelle Kaufman, let's talk a little Inter-Miami football next.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, all righty. Welcome aboard. Welcome back. It's hour number 2 of the program. And by the way, we've got some good news. Nova Southeastern has finished their game, and they have won. So they have advanced, I think, to the finals here. Let me give you the 91-77. So they will await the winner of Minnesota State and West Texas A&M. So congratulations to Coach Crutchfield and the Sharks. How about that, Michelle? Pretty awesome for that.
Yeah, I mean, look, last March was very exciting for them and for Miami and FAU. And right now, Miami didn't make the tournament. FAU got bounced early, but Nova's still in there doing their thing. So, representing South Florida in the college basketball world.
That is freaking awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, before I get into Inter, okay, those of us that have been around for a while and you interact with this woman, Katie Meyer, it's just, a pleasure. And she's awesome. And she'll never say this, but because I've watched all these other gentlemen, and maybe it's going to translate to women's game too, because the NIL is there. I just wonder that I'm watching all these coaches walk away from head coaching jobs and all this stuff because they're kind of like this new wave of being a coach that you kind of have to be a 24-hour babysitter all year, and everybody's worried about their playing time or they're transferring. I wonder if that also was something that wore on her. What do you think? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, I definitely think so. Katie Meyer has always said and said again when I spoke to her about her retirement that her secret sauce, as she calls it, her secret sauce has always been relationships, building teams based on relationships. And Coach L is the same. I mean, Coach L's best teams have been teams where he took guys and helped develop them. And he has been able to get a couple of transfers each year of the good years where they advance far. And he did sprinkle in a couple of transfers, but he always had a base and a foundation of a team of people who believe in him and his system. And Katie Meyer, same way, she said to me, Michelle, what I love is seeing a kid at 13 and thinking, wow, that looks like it could be a prospect. And then you start to follow them. And then in high school, you start recruiting them and you meet their families and you get to know them. And then they put their trust in you and you put your trust in them. And they come to the University of Miami and very proudly wear that U on their shirt. And they're there because they love the university and they love what she represents and her staff. And and the kids stay and they learn and they develop and they get better. And you have an idea. I spoke to Coach L also in the last couple of weeks about, him basically thinking that he's going to probably have to replace almost his entire team, because if guys don't get the minutes they want, they just throw up their hands and say, I'm done, I'm out, I'm going somewhere else. I want, more minutes. I want more NIL money. I want whatever. And they don't develop. And the truth is that of the guys who left UM last year after the Final Four season, only one of the four Harlan Beverly, he had a slightly better statistics there. He got more playing minutes than he would have in Miami, although maybe he would have also gotten those minutes in Miami. My opinion, he would have, because he was already a player who was increasing his minutes year by year. And I think this third year he would have gotten a lot of playing time, but he chose to go elsewhere. The other three who went elsewhere, Favor Ire, he got 1 point and 1 rebound at and he got 1 point and 1 rebound at his new school. And now he's in the transfer portal again, to which I would say, maybe the problem is not the school. Maybe look yourself in the mirror. If you're you're 6'11" and you're getting 1 point and 1 rebound at 2 different schools, maybe you need to work a little bit more on your game. Just saying. Right. So, I do think, back to your question about Katie. Katie is a people person. She's a relationship person. And, the idea that she brings in transfers and, whether it be the Cavender twins or the transfers she had this year, Shayande Wilson and Lamaya, I'm missing the third one. 3 transfers came in. And I think they were going to, just like Haley and the twins came one year, they're in, they're out. This year, the new girls who came were going to be in, they were going to be out. I think maybe she just thought, you know what, I'm 56 years old, which is younger than me. So I think of that as young, but she's 56 and she said, she wants to still lead. She loves college athletics. She loves the University of Miami, and she's going to stay at in a different role as a sort of ambassador, fundraiser, mentor, administrator type person. But the thought of Katie giving up coaching, knowing how much she loves coaching. Like Coach L said, that his favorite time of day is practice. He loves practice. And he said he will retire the day that practice is no longer fun. So, but Coach L and Katie both have said that it's just not, coaching college sports right now is not the same as it used to be. There's no, you can't develop a team. You can't develop chemistry. You can't develop players if every single year you have to get new players and you are literally recruiting every single year.
Yeah.
And I hear some people say, well, but there are coaches who leave also. And that's true. Not every single year. If there was a coach who every single year went to a new team, I would say that coach probably there's an issue. And I would say if a player, an athlete is changing schools every single year, there's something messed up about that. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I figured that's.
I'm old school. Yeah.
And a lot of these coaches are old school. So the new way is it's just too hands-on. It gets to a point where you're really almost at a disadvantage on a consistent basis. And so that's why it kind of wears on you. And I'm afraid, by the way, for Coach L's future, because he says he could talk a good game about practice being fun, but this is going to kill your practice. The fact that people don't stay around. So if you're not allowed as an architect to put the building blocks together, to put the building together, then you're not able to build anything of a foundation. And if you're a coach the same way, you're not able to build a foundation. How in the hell do you build a team? And so his best teams he said it himself. I'm stealing his line. His best teams are the ones that were there for several years and getting better and all throughout. That's kind of what it was, like the Larkin team.
You looked at Isaiah Wong. I mean, when you look at Isaiah Wong, I watched anyone who watched this program over the previous 4 years. Isaiah Wong as a freshman was a very, he was a freshman. He was not that good as a freshman. He got better as a sophomore. He got even better as a junior. And then, ends up, being the ACC player of the year. Right. If he had left after 1 year because he wasn't playing that much and wasn't doing that much as a freshman, if he had left, he would never have reached. He was drafted by the NBA. I mean, he's with the Pacers, with the G League and all that development league. I mean, he would not have reached this point. He would not have been ACC Player of the Year, in my opinion, if he had left UM. He stayed here. He let Coach L and his staff work with him. He got better every single year. And by his final year, he was voted the top player in the entire ACC. But
Yeah, and
that's because
that's why
he had the right.
I used the Larkin example too, because that Larkin team, outside of Larkin himself, he was the youngin, but outside of that, it was like a seasoned team that was developing over a couple of years, and they were
Yes.
able to have success. And that's kind of always been his thing. So I really am nervous for Larinaga, because this can't be fun anymore. This part can't be fun, that you have to babysit these guys and constantly talk them off the ledge from transferring or leaving because things didn't go their way for this.
Oh yes, please, please, please stay with us. Please stay. Oh, we think you're so great, and they're hearing from their friends, and everyone has agents now because of NIL. All the college athletes have agents, and the agents are all telling them, "Oh man, you're
Right.
not playing here. That's because of the coaching. Nah, if you were playing somewhere else, you would have better numbers, and you would get a higher NIL deal, and la 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 la." But at the end of the day, there's going to be some rude awakenings in the next few years. There are going to be some rude awakenings. I will say, Coach L did get some positive news just today. A couple hours ago, Nigel Pack announced that Pack is back. Nigel Pack is coming back for a 5th season. They also signed a transfer from Virginia Tech, a 6'11" center, Lynn Kidd, 6'11" center, who was among the top most improved players in the ACC this year. I think 13 points and 6 or 7 rebounds a game, and really, really improved. And 67-point shooter, 67% shooting, which led the ACC. He had the highest shooting percentage. So he's obviously a guy who can score inside. And Norchad Omier remains to be seen. I am hearing from people in the know that he's seriously considering coming back. He has to wait and see what he hears from the NBA, but if he hears what he heard last year, he may be back as well. So they may get Norchad and Nigel Pack back, which would be huge. And, they would have to rebuild around those two guys because they pretty much lost everybody else.
I love Norchad. I hope he does come back. I think he needs one more year, but he is a stud to watch. All right, let's move to Inter.
Yes.
Michelle, and this is not hindsight. I was not a fan of this preseason, and I think this preseason took a toll on them. And I get it, man. They spent a bunch of money, and they got to make it back and all that kind of stuff. But look where last year you wore the man out, and he ended up kind of broken down. And now you're starting the season, and you kind of wore the man out because the travel and the play and the demand and all. Dude, you're only a human being, and he's already in his mid-30s. It's just kind of sad to see.
Almost late 30s. He's going to be 37 soon.
Yeah, it's just kind of sad to see that, you're kind of hurting your chances because of what's going on. And then, part 2 of that question, you've become so top-heavy that your defense, man, I know they just signed somebody now, but, man, your defense, outside of Calendar, there just isn't enough people to protect. And you're so top-heavy offensively that you lack so much defensively. There's an imbalance with the team too. So 2 things that I think have kind of taken them a little off kilter in this early part of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a different team. I mean, it seems it's so obvious that their team is better when Messi's playing than when he's not. Duh, right? Of course. But it really, really is. I mean, this season just alone, we'll just talk about this season, let alone the end of last season, they did not win 7 straight. They went winless for 7 games without Messi. Now this year, they are undefeated through 5 games with him. 5 games that he played, they're undefeated. The 3 games that he did not play, they lost 2 of the 3. And the one the other day against New York was a complete disaster. So the team is much better with Messi than without, not only for what he personally does with the ball, but also he elevates everybody else on the field. When he's on the field, they all just have this feeling that something good is going to happen, and they run harder and they play better, and it's just a better team when he's out there. And as far as balancing his minutes now. The problem is they have all these cups, and Tata has said from the beginning of this season that the priority is going to be on the most urgent games first and the less urgent games next. So right now, for example, right now we're still in March. The Champions Cup is a $5 million cup, and they are already in the quarterfinals. So, they're in the quarterfinals of a $5 million cup. If they win it, they get to play in the World Cup Club Championship next summer, which is being held in the United States. It's a prestigious tournament. So right now, if he's choosing between playing Messi in the Champions Cup games, which are do or die urgent games, or play him against New York and against New York again this Saturday, this early in the season, when the MLS season goes on until the end of November, he is going to hold him. He's going to rest him. So it is possible that Lionel Messi could be healthy enough to play this Saturday. Will he? I would guess no, because next Wednesday they're going to play Monterrey, the Mexican team, here at home in the opening leg of a 2-leg, do or die Champions Cup. So Tata is sort of, definitely prioritizing the cup right now, the Champions Cup, over the MLS season, figuring that there's no room for error, is how he worded it. There's no room for error with Champions Cup. There is room for error in an MLS season that goes on until the end of November. So even if they were to lose 2 or 3 games, they can catch up with those later. If they lose 2 games here, they're out of this tournament. So some of this is managing when he's going to play and when he's not. I wouldn't say that we know for sure that he's totally broken down right now and couldn't play.
Oh.
He was out there jogging around last week. I think, he has a hamstring issue, and we know from all sports, hamstrings are complicated. You don't want to mess with those. So they are not going to play him unless they feel they have to play him. The problem is the rest of the team is good enough. To be honest with you, let's say that Messi had chosen to go to Saudi Arabia or to go to Barcelona. If you were to have told anybody who follows this team that this team is going to have Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba, and Campana and Drake Callender, whatever, on this team, and Redondo, who's supposed to be, this rising Argentine player.
And by the way, Kramaski hasn't played yet. Okay.
He hasn't played yet. He's injured. And Diego Gomez has looked very good this year as well. And he was one of the leaders of the Paraguay national team. He's going to, be playing for their under-23s in the Olympics. So you have enough with this team. You do have enough to win without Messi. And so my opinion, the problem really, the defense has been very, very suspect. Now this last game, Drake wasn't there. Drake was with the U.S. national team. That is another issue that MLS needs to fix. My opinion and the opinion of many people. If MLS wants to be considered one of the, serious leagues in the world, then during the FIFA windows, you pause your play. You don't play through the FIFA windows. None of the other leagues in Europe are playing through FIFA windows. That is a 1 or 2 week period where you are supposed to not play for your club. You are required by FIFA to play for your country. And MLS just continues to play on through. Maybe that was fine back when MLS didn't have that many national team players.
Yeah, but we're screwed because we play the season at the wrong time. And that's because the NFL is going on. But really,
but right now, I'm talking about right now.
I know.
Right now, EPL is going on. Right now, we're in March. I'm not talking about summer. Right now in March, they just had a 6-day window in which the leagues in Europe were in season, but they stopped for FIFA. MLS decides to just play on through. Back when they didn't have that many national team players, maybe that made sense. And maybe they even thought, hey, there won't be any other matches going on. Let's showcase our league during this window when everybody else is dead. But now when you have the New York Red Bulls were missing 6 players, including 5 starters. Inter
Yeah.
Miami was missing 6 players, including 5 starters. Both teams were missing their starting goalkeeper. Okay. So that's a problem to me that MLS needs to start stopping. They have to stop play during the FIFA international windows, because you're also penalizing the better teams that have better players who are on national teams. If you're on an MLS team that doesn't have any national team players, you can play your full roster. If you're on a national MLS team that has 6, 7, 8 national team players, you're kind of screwed during these windows. And this is going to continue the rest of this season. And this particular Miami team has 9 players who are on their national teams. And, potentially you could have 9 players out, many of whom are starters. So that's another issue too. But that was not the issue of why they lost to New York, because New York also had 6 players, the exact number, and their starting keeper. I mean, it was almost identical. They were not missing Messi. Okay, we'll give them that. But they came out ready to play. Lewis Morgan was unbelievable. We're always Lewis Morgan fans. You and I were always Lewis Morgan fans. And he showed why the other day. The guy had a hat trick, not only a hat trick, but the play he made on the sideline. If anybody watched that game, the ball was dribbling out of bounds. The Miami guys had already, figured that ball's going out of bounds. Everyone watching the game probably thought that ball is rolling out of bounds, except for one person. Lewis Morgan is like, no. That ball is not out of bounds yet. It's about 3 inches to go. He went racing over there like a banshee, dives down, slides, and keeps the ball in play, gets it to one of his teammates right in front of the goal, who then, taps it to someone else who's wide open. And Miami was completely caught off guard, for one of the 4 goals. So he scored 3 goals and set up the 4th goal with a play that was just pure desire. And that's what Miami was missing. And so what I would say in conclusion, it's a very long answer, is yes, the Messi effect is going on, and the preseason, is he tired? Is he injured? Is he this? But I still think the rest of the team needs to step up, and they are good enough. They have enough players to beat these other teams in MLS, even without Messi. But the defense, not good so far. He's been shifting formation, sometimes 5 in the back, sometimes 4, sometimes, having Noah Allen all of a sudden playing in center back. He's not a center back. They did just sign just today, Marcelo Weigand from Boca Juniors is coming over on loan for this season. He is a true right back. They lost DeAndre Yedlin. They're going to replace him with this guy. So they will have a true right back instead of, they had Gressel playing back there. They had Robert Taylor, bless his heart, went back there and said, I'll do whatever I need to do for the team. They threw him back there, but they haven't had a true right back. So now they will have a true right back, but they need to develop some chemistry in the back line. They lost Kamal Miller. They bring in these new guys. They're shifting one day 5, one day 4, one day Noah Allen playing left back, one day Noah Allen playing center back. They need to make a decision on what their back line is so that those guys can develop a chemistry in the back, and also chemistry with Drake Callender too.
Yeah.
That's critical. In fact, that's critical. Communication is critical on defense.
Speaking of critical, I've been critical of Mike McDaniel as a game day coach and the way he manages a game, that I think he holds his team back at times. While he's got a marvelous offensive mind, and I love his personality, and I love the atmosphere he's creating, he still has to grow up as a coach on game day. Just like I love Mario Cristobal, the person, the recruiter, the hard worker, the leader, but on game day, some of his decisions have just, brought the team back. In fact, both coaches, if they were better, their teams would have more wins on the board. Well, I got to be as critical also with Tata. Without Messi, he's not showing me anything. When I see Eric Spoelstra, when I watch Don Shula, and I love this, that, you and I, we're cut from the classics. So when we mentioned Don Shula, oh, you're just old. Well, guess what? Eric Spoelstra is Don Shula in basketball. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I don't care if you're giving
A
him
tactician. Yeah, you're
Squibberini.
talking about a tactician. Yep.
Yeah, I'm talking about a person that when you give him just whatever kind of ingredients, he's going to make a hell of a salad out of it, one way or another. Because Larinaga does the same shit all the time. If you give him all
Yeah.
kinds of players, he figures it out and he does it. I can't say I'm impressed with Tata minus Messi. Is that fair?
Yeah, I gotta say, I have a podcast also, Inside Into Miami, and this week there have been some little murmurings from the people writing comments, but this week after that New York game, there were a lot of Tata comments, and they were not positive. There were a lot of people critical of Tata, of his substitutions, of the fact that he just keeps switching the formations, he doesn't make his mind up, and that the team just, I mean, when he said himself that the other day that he was so disappointed that the team looked like it was not ready to play, that the team looked like it was, didn't have the desire to compete. Okay, part of your job is to motivate your team. Hello. And then number two, talking to Lawson Sunderland the other day, interesting story, by the way. That guy speaks perfect Spanish with a Castilian accent, which who knew that he went and lived in Barcelona for 5 years from age 15. He left his home in Illinois at 15 to chase his soccer dream and spent 5 years in academies in Spain with second division Spanish teams. And interesting story. I wrote a feature on him yesterday. But anyway, I asked him specifically, what did he think went wrong with the defense against New York? Why did they look so exposed? And why was Lewis Morgan able to basically do whatever he wanted, starting with the 3rd minute of the game? And he said, well, I think New York is a high pressing team. And, we what did he say? We weren't quite ready. Something like we weren't quite ready at the start of the game. It caught us by surprise. I think he actually said the words caught us by surprise.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everyone, I mean, the New York Red Bulls have always over the years been that kind of team that, it's a high pressing team. That's what they always talk about with that team.
Yes.
It should not have come as a surprise. The team should have known from the opening whistle exactly what they were going to get. And especially with Lewis Morgan, the guy played on this team. Everyone knows exactly what his tendencies are and what he can do. And yeah, so I think, I'm not going to say, some critics have written to me emails and messages, DMs, he's got to go. He's on the hot seat. I don't think we're at that stage. No, we're not there yet. We're just in March, but I do think that people are starting to question his decisions, or lack of making a firm decision on what style of defense he wants to play. Also being better prepared for the opponent. You look at some of these other coaches, the Nashville coach, Gary Smith, you look at Jim Curtin in Philadelphia. Those guys, when you talk up to them, they know a lot about the individual players of the other teams, and they talk tactics a lot. I think Tata, people are going to want to see more of that. Let me just put it that way. People want to see that this team is prepared and motivated. That is what a coach is for. A coach is to prepare, to develop tactics and formations and figure out what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Like Coach L, like you said, play to your strengths, hide your weaknesses. That's what the coaches do. Hide your weaknesses, focus on your strengths, and Inter Miami needs to do that as a collective group. They can't just throw out Messi and his buddies out there and figure, these guys played on Barcelona, they're going to roll through MLS. No, they're not, because there are some good coaches in MLS who are figuring out how to play these guys. There are players in MLS who are a little bit over the awe because they're now playing Messi and friends for the 2nd or 3rd time. It's not the same as the first time they were on the field with them when they were like, go. Now they're like, hey, whatever. They've lost to New York. They lost to this team. They lost to that team. They're not, we're not saying Messi's not the best player in the world, but we're saying this team as a team is beatable. They're vulnerable. They have some weak spots. Let's exploit them. I just think the fear factor is going to disappear the more and more other teams play them. And so they need to They need to get better. They need to get better. It's going to be a very long season.
By the way, this is only like for you and me, and very few people that would pick this up. But it wasn't only a revenge game for Lewis Morgan, but Dylan Nealis, a little Miami FC, because he played really well in that game.
He did. He had the assist. He had the assist on the first goal. It was Dylan Nealis to Lewis Morgan, two Inter Miami guys.
Well, yeah. I look at him more as Miami FC before I look at him. I know he had a cup of tea with Inter Miami, but
he had a cup of tea. Yeah,
he had a lot of success with those Miami FC teams that were actually pretty damn good. So that was pretty cool. What do you got going on in the Herald? So Inter Miami and basketball fans.
Oh my God, what do I have? Well, first of all, I've been covering tennis for the last 2 weeks, so I still have that for the next few days. On Saturday, I'll be going from the women's final at the Miami Open straight to the Inter Miami against NYCFC game. So I'm juggling tennis balls and soccer balls these days, and a little bit of basketball thrown in with the transfer portal and with Nigel Pack's announcement. So yeah, as far as Inter Miami, the game this Saturday coming up, let's see if they can, is this going to be a trap game where they're just already thinking about next week, Monterrey, because that's what all the questions have been about. But do they want to really follow up that debacle against New York Red Bulls with another loss to the other New York team, which, by the way, this New York team, New York NYCFC, is in second to last place in the whole league. They have only one win. They've scored 3 goals, and Miami has scored 13 goals, which leads the league, by the way. Miami does lead the league with 13 goals, but they have allowed 9. So, this is a game that could be kind of a trap game where they're playing a team that's a lowly team with a bad record, with the Champions Cup, $5 million Champions Cup that everyone's focusing on coming up on Wednesday. So are they going to be motivated? Are they going to come out and play Saturday with the desire that they need to? If they don't, I think, it would be detrimental for them to lose 2 games in a row going into that Champions Cup, because then your morale is going to be down. The confidence may be down. I think they want to go into that Champions Cup on a high note. And the way to do that is to go in and just crush NYCFC at home. I mean, that would be my motivation if I were a coach or player on that team. So we'll see what happens. But there's a lot coming up now. They've got that game. Then they have the Champions Cup 2 legs over the next 2 weeks. And in between their Colorado Rapids game. So, there are 3 or 4 games in a short window. And the big question is, which ones are Messi going to play?
All right, there you go. Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports and catch her fantastic work there at the Miami Herald, as always. Michelle, have a great weekend. Don't go too crazy, going all over the place. Appreciate
I'm all over. I'm going right now to teach my class. Anyway, thank you for having me. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
There you go. The great Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald talking a little Inter Miami. Yeah, Lewis Morgan had a revenge game. Yeah, and so did Dylan Nealis, man. Dylan played really, really well, man. Really, really well. Luis Medina says, good morning, Fins fans. Blessing. I've lost 47 pounds in the last 6 months. 3 bananas a day. Was chicken, pork, beef, vegetables, no rice, wheat bread, no Papa John's after a Heat win, water, and coffee. There you go. All right. Good for you, Luis, man. 47 pounds, bro. You are an inspiration, my brother. Keep it going, man. All right, there we go. It's good stuff as always. Speaking of an inspiration, Steve Calabro. Yes, there's an inspiration. When I grow up, I want to be Steve Calabro.
I hope it's not inspiration related to losing weight, because I've gained ridiculous amounts of weight. And Lewis, I want to talk to him. What was that diet again? Bananas? I like bananas.
Yeah.
No rice.
Bananas, 3 bananas a day with chicken, pork, beef, vegetables, no rice, wheat-based, no free Papa John's after a Heat win, because, they have that free Papa John's.
Pizza is tough for no pizza.
What's going to get what's
every win, Whopper Jr.
Marlins every win is a Whopper Jr.?
Yeah, but you see, I think
the Marlins aren't good enough to give you a Whopper.
Yeah. You'll get about 5 burgers in the first 30 games.
A Whopper Jr.
Not even a meal.
like a Whopper Junior. Like what the? Like
Well,
like,
no,
did
wait.
he give you a pizza?
No, but you're not looking at it the right way. That's the way to lose weight because you're not going to get many Whopper Juniors. With the Marlins. See, maybe the Marlins are ahead of the curve and trying to get the they say that our society is a little overweight.
Yes.
So this is the Marlins doing their part.
Okay.
Because they not really want to give too much food away because we don't get a lot of wins.
Okay.
Yeah, that's but Lewis has got.
Yeah,
Lewis
that's the other point there. You're not even going to eat a lot of Whopper Juniors.
That's my point. Yeah. I mean, now Lewis is onto the no carbs thing, but no. Look, for Latinos, no rice, tough thing, right? For Latinos, no rice. Italians, no pasta. Give me a break. I mean,
shot.
You cut the raviolis out, forget it. That's fight. Those are fighting words.
No shot.
So
shot.
Like,
no, but you know what? You have to treat yourself. Like I've lost 30, but I've treated myself along the way. I will eat pasta, right? What maybe once a week, right? Or at least I'm treating myself to some pasta. So and I'll eat some rice. I won't eat it all the time, but I'll treat myself. You know what I mean? You got it.
Yeah, because what you do is you'll go bonkers and then you'll start going nuts, and eat too much. But see, with me, my wife's an amazing Italian cook. I mean, she's an amazing cook, but the Italian stuff is, lasagna. It doesn't get any better. Like I can't even go to a restaurant or somebody's house and they have a lasagna. Okay. That's like literally AAA. Right. It's AAA lasagna compared to my wife's lasagna. And then, she'll say, oh, you mind? We'll just have raviolis. Then so we'll have this huge Italian meal. It's delicious. And then she makes enough so I can have it for lunch the next day. Right. So I get like a double dose of pasta. I don't eat like one dose of pasta pretty much ever. Yeah. It's a double dose. And it's really good.
There's nothing better than home cooking, dude.
I sometimes share it with the people here. My finance guy, you know what he said the other day? I said, Joe, my wife also tends to think that, she's trying to add the kindness of her heart. She doesn't give me like 1 or 2 meatballs. She might give me like 4, Right. I can't eat 4 meatballs. So I'll give them to somebody at work. I gave them to my finance guy and he said, and he was like, he wanted like to marry my wife. The comments he was making, I was like, wow, you're a little late on that. But I mean, it was a little bit weird, but I mean, it was weird to hear him say what he was saying,
food is a way to a man's heart. Bro.
Yes, apparently it is. And
Italian food.
Yeah, there's a speed highway to my heart then.
Italian and Mexican, you got me.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you got me.
I love Mexican.
I'm done.
I love Mexican.
I'm done. I can eat those every day of my life.
Enchiladas, chili rellenos. I just love them.
Just Italian and Mexican food is just, phenomenal.
It's right there. It's right there.
It's just like phenomenal food. It's just,
trouble,
but it's awesome.
So anyhow, that being said, now
you gotta pace yourself. That's all.
Hats off to a guy like Lewis that's doing what he's doing, and hats off to yourself that's losing weight. I certainly would love to.
Yeah, you can do it. It's
one day I'll sign up for it, and
it's a challenge, bro. It's a challenge for all of us.
Super, super hard, but and I'm also for me, I'm like addicted to sugar.
We all are. No, that's not a you thing. That's all of us.
Well, I don't know.
It's all of us, bro. It's all of us. That's not a Steve Calabro thing.
I'll tell you what.
It's a problem for all of us.
Once again, I'm going to bring in my cannoli dip that my wife makes. It's not just cannolis. Because cannolis are a little tricky. You eat them and they crunch and they fall apart like a bad taco. What cannolis? It's a little bit rough. So my wife has figured it out. Now remember, my wife grew up with her grandmother, who didn't speak a stitch of English, and in fact, she would cook. The grandmother had the old Italian recipes, and my wife and her mother would have to like sort of say, well, "How do you make that, Grandma?" And because they don't use like a measuring cup, or they just know the right amounts, right?
Right.
So anyway, my wife, back to the cannoli dip. It's cannoli dip like in a dish, and she has these delicious like cookies, these Italian cookies, and you dip them in. See, so the shell doesn't crack. It's perfect.
Okay.
I'm going to bring them to the show one day.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring them to the show. I mean, it's addictive.
Sean and I will not complain about good Italian food, bro.
Anyhow, I'm going to shift.
So by the way, we've only got a couple of days left for the Mustang.
It's happening this Saturday. You're talking 2 days.
Yeah. Wife and I will be here.
You're going to be here, and you need the. Have you tried out the seat? Is it in the right position for your driving?
Not yet. I haven't tried it, but I am going to try because
it's
know.
sharp. It's a nice sharp vehicle. It's very, 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 very. I don't know. It's got a cool look to it. Inside is just really comfortable and beautiful. So 1 o'clock. Remember, it's Saturday gaming time, 1 a.m., which is really Sunday morning at 1 a.m., but it's a Saturday night event. And
remember, when you go down and play the slot machines, the more you play, the more entries you get. And they will give it away on Saturday night at 1 a.m. It's really like Sunday morning, you know what I mean? But it's really Saturday night. So you got to be here Saturday night. And you got to be here live at 1 a.m. for the drawing. That's the only way. So, by the way, I've never asked you this. Every time you've given away something, how many times do you have to give out a number?
All right, so here's how we do it. Sometimes people aren't here. It's a bummer until you pick out the name. So what we do is we pick out 3 names, and then we give 3 sealed envelopes to the 3 finalists. And then we say, countdown 3, 2, 1. Everybody opens it. So the one person wins a car, and the other 2 people win like $1,000. So it takes us.
So we got 2 chances on Saturday night, baby.
Yeah, look, it takes us. There's people that aren't here, and that's a bummer. And then they hear about it. And then we hear about it on Tuesday or Monday.
But that's the rules.
Yes, it's the rule.
That's the damn rule. The rule says it. You're playing. Remember, be here at 1 a.m. But because you get to drive off the damn lot with the car. You know what I mean? It's it's yours.
We have to on average we pick about 5 names. So there's usually 1 or 2 people not here, and so that's not good. That's like, hey, you were supposed to win and.
Right.
You didn't go where you went to gamble last week when you earned entries. It's like,
right.
It wasn't like you had to go dig a ditch or anything. You had to go to work. You had to just go there for an half hour, an hour.
I'm sure some people just come to play and they don't really, I never win anyway. And so, but they love playing the machines.
Pretty much 2 or 3 every drawing are, if they're thinking that way, they're wrong.
I figured that, man. I always forget to ask you that. Because it's like, how many times does it happen?
Some of the people, when they win too, it's like a, they open it up and it's a picture of the car, and they get confused. They don't really know what the heck, because we don't tell them exactly. I mean, it's common sense. You have a car, and Sean and I have a thing that says $1,000. You probably won the car, right? But there's about 20 seconds of what's going on, and it is a little bit. It's very crowded. It's a little bit. Controlled bedlam, it's nuts, but it's fun. It's kind of high energy, fun, exciting stuff. And Mike Golden will be giving away the car. He's going to be working at our director of marketing is going to be giving away the car. He has the keys in his desk right now.
By the way, Brian Landis is having some fun with the situation. He goes, "Does Steve know that O is on a diet? It seems like he's enjoying torturing you, O, right now." Just talking all that food. No, but I'll give you a great example. I'll give you a great example where my discipline is a force field to all of this. Okay? My lovely wife likes to bake cakes, right?
Oh.
So her mom, my mother-in-law, had her birthday the other day. So part of it, she surprised her by baking a cake. But when she bakes a cake, whoever's birthday it is, she will bake a second cake.
Oh, that's
because one goes to the party deal and then one stays home for everybody in the house.
the Big O family.
Right. I've walked by that cake for a couple of days and haven't touched it, baby.
Well,
and for me not to touch cake, brother, that is like cake, like donuts. Like, ask this guy. He travels with me. Do I not go? What's the first thing I do? I try to find donuts, right? Whatever town we're in, I want to find the hometown donut place of that city. It's just a drug for me, dude.
Listen,
a glazed donut. I gotta have me a glazed donut from a different place, and it's just one of those things. You know what I mean? And to pass by that cake a couple times.
That's impressive. I think it's more impressive. Oh yeah, it's very impressive what you just said. That you're walking by a cake in your home.
In my home.
Like that could happen at 6 a.m. That could happen at 2 p.m. Could happen at 10 o'clock at night. you could get plenty of time in there to get hungry.
Walking
That's impressive.
Right by it.
What was that, Brian there?
Brian Landis.
Brian, no, I'm not busting him.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm not busting. I'm actually giving him admiration that he can walk by the cake. I think if it were me, and I don't want to get involved in the Orlando, the Big O family feud here, but I would ask my wife, don't make the second cake.
No, no.
And I tell my kids, tough luck.
No.
You can't get it.
I got, I need that. I need that to test me. I need that to harden me. That's what it does. It hardens me.
Oh, you're more disciplined than the average guy. More disciplined than me, that's for sure.
You know what? It's like anything. Once you start having success in something, you get motivated to stay on it and say, okay, well, dude, if you want to keep losing, well, you can't have a couple of donuts and you can't have cake and you can have it, but not, and I should have a slice, actually. I've given myself a slice, but having said that, I still haven't had the
Listen,
cake.
You're talking to a man that driving in today.
I haven't had a donut in a couple of weeks.
Driving in today, I had 2 devil dogs. Okay, that's who you're talking to. So I mean, like, devil dogs are like have no nutritional value. They're not even like, I don't know. It's not like it's cake, or cannolis or something.
Yeah.
It's just like something from my childhood that was inexpensive, and I bought a box of devil dogs, and I had 2 of them for breakfast.
I haven't had
water and devil dogs.
Now that I think about it, I haven't had a donut in weeks.
Yeah, see, then you're way better. You're way better than me, and way better than the average. But
I had an elephant ear. That was one of my meals at youth fair, because that's one of our fantastic
elephant ears
sponsors.
are good. Well,
oh God, elephant.
Well, you talk about discipline. Apparently, there's some people in baseball not really having discipline. I guess his name is Otani.
How about that? He's guilty. He's guilty as hell.
There's a hell of a transition, right? Oh my Lord! You're about the 10th person I've asked, and nobody has said he's not guilty.
I'm not feeling guilty from eating bad food, but he should be feeling guilty about it, because
he's either guilty of whatever what everybody thinks he did and having somebody bet for him, or he's guilty for stupidity, right?
All of it.
Yeah, or both. Yeah, or both. And,
all of it.
And
because the excuses are BS, the stories change.
It's all a mess.
Like, oh, oops, I'm missing $5 million from my bank account. Like, come on, bro.
Or no, I was going to help my buddy out because he had a gambling problem, that story didn't really happen. But I'm going to defend.
This would be the Greg Anderson school of best friends.
No, I'm gonna be like, imagine if I was a lawyer, I'd be a public defender now. Okay. So it's gonna sound like I'm defending him. He's wrong. If Major League Baseball, he's put Major League Baseball in a ridiculous predicament. The whole thing's gonna be a mess, right? And hopefully it turns out that it doesn't hurt the game or whatever happens, right? But I'm gonna defend him for just a second. Remember when you were 26 years old, or 24, or 28, or so. You're in your 20s. You're single, and just imagine, Big O is 26, and I hand you $50 million, not $700 million, $50 million.
Yeah,
there's a chance. Yeah. He's just another example of these athletes get ridiculous amounts of money and do stupid stuff.
But the one thing they tell you constantly, it's written in your locker room: no gambling. No gambling.
But when
there's lots of things you can do that probably you shouldn't do. But the one thing that can really set you back,
I'm going to tell you,
is the gambling. And they tell them all. They have symposiums. They remind them. It's written right there every day. You run into it in the locker room.
That's true, but 26 years old. There's two things that really are tough.
Look at the Toronto Raptor kid.
He was
rigging player props.
Unbelievable, but
stupid.
The two things I think that get big players, young athletes that get a lot of money, whether it's 50 million or 10 million or anything over 10 is excessive, right? Two things that are about is money. And then the other thing that can get those guys in trouble is alcohol. right?
Yeah.
Money and alcohol, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when they get
Yeah.
like, they're
Well,
out
that doesn't
partying.
seem to be the issue with him.
Not in this case, but remember what was the guy, the giant receiver? He was in the nightclub.
Plaxico Burress.
Burress, and he shot himself, right? I mean, like, so he's spending money and lots, he's drunk, and he shoots himself. And by the way, he carried the gun across state lines and blah, blah, blah. I mean, these guys just do. So in defense of that, I think if Steve Calabro got $50 million when he was 26, I might have done something stupid.
Yeah,
I don't know about it was gambling related, but
you're not an NFL, Major League Baseball player, NBA player.
no, I get it.
So that's where that's the taboo thing, bro.
I know, but see, here's the thing.
Hey, listen, be late home. Maybe pay a bill late. Don't take out the trash. You can piss off your wife a whole bunch of ways, right? Okay. Now, maybe a threesome in Vegas.
Not too good.
That might not be at the Bunny Ranch. That might not be the right idea. That's
not good.
There's certain mistakes you can make, and then there are certain mistakes you can't make. And so you got to know as a player, brother,
but
I can have a divorce. I can have a public divorce. I can have a DUI. But I cannot gamble on the sport. That's the what
I get it. I get it. But they remember these are guys. All these guys that get money. These young athletes, men and women. I'm speaking mostly of men in this case, but they get money. They also have spent the last 10 years of their lives being told they're the best.
Yeah.
And by the way, then when they looked at it, say, oh wow, I hit 50 homers and everybody else hit 40 or less, right? So they know they're the best, right? So you got this pounding. So they have 10 years of I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best.
Invincible.
And then I'm invincible. I'll never get caught.
Yeah.
Because I'm the best, right? I'm the best. And then they get caught. And
then you know what happens? It's the scene from GoldenEye. 007. I am invincible.
Yes,
and then the thing explodes, and then he ends up frozen in cryogenics. And that's it. I am invincible. Then you're not invincible anymore.
I'm not defending them, but the league, I think the leagues should do more. The league should do more. What about how they when guys get all this money?
Did you bet on the Hialeah app on something and it's hurting you in the baseball game or something, bro?
Oh, it's an opener.
Oh, Shohei. Well, there you go.
There you go. See that? I guess it's not affecting his performance.
No. Well, he bet a player prop that he would hit a home run. That's the thing.
Well, it's all right. It's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's at any rate. So that's my
in
take.
WhatsApp, he's like texting his friend in Japan.
Watch this.
I will hit a home run. Play bets, and that's it.
I'm feeling
it.
So I could nail this guy.
It's encrypted in WhatsApp, so he's protected. He's not doing a regular text. What happened? Oh, it was Freddie Freeman.
Oh, okay.
Freeman,
they look alike. They look alike. Yeah,
exactly alike. They're just Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani. In fact, I think it was. In fact, I think it was Freddie Freeman that was at Shohei Ohtani's press conference denying anybody. You just thought it was Shohei Ohtani, but it was Freddie Freeman.
Oh, well, anyhow. So listen. On that note, good segue to HialeahPark.com.
Yes.
Get on the sports app.
That's right.
Remember,
bet against the Marlins, and you will win a lot of money.
Poor Marlins. The poor Marlins. They just. I mean, it's the first game of the year, and we're talking poor Marlins.
I already talked about it today. All they have to do is go look at the Panthers. And what did they do? They gave Barkov a 9-year contract. They make commitments. They trade for Kachuk. They traded for Bob and give him $10 million a year. They built a practice facility now, a brand new one by the War Memorial. So they added something to our community where not only it's a practice rink, but kids can go skate and do all kinds of stuff. So they're entrenching them. Have you gone to a Panther game? It's packed every night now.
Yeah, we have great seats. We have phenomenal seats too.
Okay, so
our players that go love it.
And so, how was it 5 years ago? Half full, right?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, though they had some good. They have on and off years. They've had on and off years.
That's my point.
Yeah,
there's no on and off. It's only on now.
Yeah, now they're.
Why? Because they made the commitment, and then people now believe you.
Yeah.
And so now they commit their money. If you go to the Marlins, you can't commit because they don't commit to anything. So they can cry poor, they can cry, oh, we don't get fair treatment. Brother, our town is really simple. You don't even have to win a title, but you have to try. Inter Miami comes in, brother, they're spending.
No, they're in. They're in. They're all in. They're all in.
Miami Heat has always been all in. They go. The Dolphins don't win anything big, but brother, they try every year.
Well, especially I think the last.
Well, now we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah,
really
we're much better the last couple of years.
Overall, they still were trying. Okay, it doesn't matter even if Ndamukong Suh doesn't work, brother. You're willing to give him a big ass contract. So you're willing to do things to improve. You just didn't know how to go about it. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, you're trying.
Yes.
So your stadium gets full because people at least give a shit that you give a shit.
Yeah. The only thing is, I agree with you 1,000%, except one exception.
What's that?
I don't think Adam Gase is in the category of trying.
No,
okay, I'm just sorry.
That's where the mistake. That's where
that was just.
That's
holy.
Well, that was Tannenbaum.
Yeah,
and that's where you know.
Mike Tannenbaum. So he not real successful at the Jets. Let's try him with the Dolphins.
Yeah, it makes.
And then
sense.
he hires Adam Gase, who's like.
It makes no sense.
I mean, Adam Gase is lucky to have a job. I mean, at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
He was
He's coaching high school now.
Yeah, I mean, he's lucky to have that job. You know what I mean? That's how bad he was.
That's my point.
But 90% of what you're saying, it was true in terms
Brother,
of
I've lived here
efforts.
for all my. I've lived here all my life,
especially the last couple of years.
If you don't try, we're not going to try, and we're not going to reciprocate. We're just not going to do it. That's not what we do here. Because you can go to Las Olas and you can come to Hialeah Park and have a great time, eat some food, gamble, and come out with a great vibe and not be frustrated. You want to go to the Grove, you want to go to Las Olas, you want to go to a concert, you want to go. There's so many places to go that the entertainment dollar is stretched to hell in this place.
In a big way.
You want to go to the Keys?
Yeah.
And hang out for a weekend with the wife? That's like another world when you just
12 months a year. 12 months a year, go down there and hang out, go fishing,
and it's
hang out,
and the second you drive into the Keys, brother, it's completely different than what you left.
Yeah.
It's like another
it's a nice
world.
experience.
It's a nice experience. And so so if you want to go to a Heat game, dude, you're going to get entertained. They're going to spend money. You go to a Dolphin game, they're going to entertain. You go to a Panther game, you go to an Inter Miami game, and the Inter Miami doesn't even have their real stadium yet. Wait till they add the bells and the whistles. You mean
the Miami team that's playing in Fort Lauderdale? Yeah,
exactly.
Where I live. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's my point. When they make that commitment, when they really make that commitment, then we'll respond and we'll treat baseball like everything else. But if you don't, bro, and you don't give a shit and you just want to go cheap, and then when these people get of age and you no longer can manipulate them in arbitration and all that, they're gone.
Yeah, and they start and now they're. And their skill level is better,
right? All you
or
did,
as good or better.
All you did was develop him for somebody else.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, I mean, the Marlins have a lot to learn, right? I mean, and look, the worst one was.
But you got to take the hit. You got to be the billionaire that is willing to take the hit.
But
early
people
on.
thought the Derek Jeter plan was going to work, and it didn't really.
Well, because he first filled up the minors like they wanted to.
Good plan.
And then he turned to him, okay, time to spend now.
And they said, no go.
Right. And then Kim Ng said, okay, time to spend now. And no, we're going to go hire a guy from Tampa because they do it right. They don't spend either. You know, I know they milk it and they get max. They max it out. They did
max out.
They always max it out.
Yeah,
but in the end, you always look at them and say, yeah, you guys don't have enough. You're the little engine that could, and you're asking for lightning in a bottle 1 year. You're asking for the 2003 Marlins. You're asking for the 15 Royals, 16 Royals, whatever. You know, two young teams that put it together in one season, and then you never really kept them. You know what I'm saying? They all left to other teams.
It's a shame because it's a beautiful park. I like the park.
It's a great park.
I love that. You know, when you can see the city when they open up that back wall. Even when they don't open it up, it's nice. But at any rate, it's a I just wanted to stop by and give you my
Appreciate you.
take on Ohtani. I can tell you, you're at least the 10th person I've talked to.
No, he's done. Like
no
he's
one
cooked.
has.
He's a liar.
One of the guys I spoke to.
Now he'll survive because baseball will cover his ass.
Baseball is going,
but it's going to be one of those things like, bro, we know you did it, bro.
It's going to be interesting to see what baseball does. You know, like it's not an easy task there. But it was interesting. One of my buddies tells me, he said, listen, I talked to a bookmaker. He said, there isn't a bookmaker on this planet that would have let a guy like the interpreter who's making $400,000, give or take $100,000, go to $4.5 million. So, you know, and so obviously, so everybody is saying the same thing. Everybody's saying Ohtani did it. And what is MLB going to do?
They're not going to do anything. He's the most important player on the planet for them. They need, remember, baseball is dying in this country.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So they need him to grow it overseas in different places because baseball needs to go find revenue in other places and fans in other places because they are falling behind here on a consistent basis here. Kids are not growing up to love baseball. So now you use Ohtani in the Far East to try to, you know,
get that part of the world to watch Major League Baseball, but
like basketball has done a marvelous job of going international.
Yeah,
and many countries watch the NBA now because their players are playing in our league.
But I do want to mention it, and I know he's not the nicest guy in the world. He's a bad guy, but you know, if Ohtani did something similar to what bad guy Pete Rose did, you know, it's not good. You know, the older fan's going to say, "Hey, wait a second." You know,
right?
You know, here's what I think is going to happen. I think baseball is going to let Pete Rose back in. I really believe this.
I don't think so.
I think they're going to let him back in, and then they're going to deal with the Ohtani thing. I'm telling you. No, it's not a conspiracy theory. No, I think Rose is going.
I think Rose gets in after he dies,
and that's
so they don't deal with.
It's a hard one to bet against
because can you imagine in putting him in now, and then he goes to give his speech. Oh my God, he is going to tear.
Oh, his speech will be bad. Yeah, that's a good point.
He got what he wanted, and now you can't stop him.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm already the Hall of Famer.
I think they wait till Rose dies, and then
I don't know.
Posthumous, right? Is that posthumous?
Yeah.
That's how he goes in.
Yeah,
that way they don't have to deal with, because after he speaks at that
it could be
speech,
deadly. It could be deadly.
And then he's going to have interviews after that.
Oh, he'll be all over the media, beat him up,
and
he might speak okay at the acceptance. He may actually speak. It would be
he
the
has
media.
no class. There's no way.
You don't know.
There's no way.
There might be a deal, a handshake deal, or something. I don't know.
There's no way.
Good. And the problem with him was
that guy fought it. He for 20 years he never even admitted it. It's like, yo, bro, we know you did it, dude. Just we're the best in the world at just saying I screwed up. You know, if you admit and you say, hey, I screwed up and I'm remorseful about it, we're forgiving as a society. But if you're going to be defiant and you're going to keep going, no, I didn't do it, and we're like, yo, OJ, come on, bro. OJ, let's go. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things like, yo, dude, let's go.
But I want
Chappaquiddick, Kennedy, let's go.
Love the Chappaquiddick story. But listen, so I want to ask you and
bunch of young people are like, what the fuck?
Chappaquiddick, Kennedy, Teddy Kennedy, boy, Teddy Kennedy. Oh, Mary Jo was from New Jersey. Anyhow, Kopechne. Just want to let. There's a lot of people from New Jersey. Mary, I'll remind you almost. Apparently, I know all of them.
Yes,
I'm not really sure. Not really sure why, but
you have the Jersey directory in your head.
Yes, in my head. It's quite horrible. But the so now you made me lose my chance. No.
It's kind of what we do.
Yeah, you made me lose my train of thought when I was going to ask
Pete Rose and the whole thing.
And Pete Rose. I don't know what the heck it was, but
But you would unleash the Kraken, and I don't think they want to unleash the Kraken because they've got him tamed because he can't get in. So he's got to kind of because he can't be a total dick.
Yeah,
then he'll never really get in.
I think
the only way you unleash the dick is if you.
I think he gets in before he dies.
Insert it into the Hall of Fame.
I think he gets in, and they're gonna let him in when he's alive. When he's so old and feeble, he's gonna look like Joe Biden. I mean, he's gonna look like an old man. I'm sorry, did I say that? I can't believe I said that. He's gonna look like an old man, right? And he's just gonna be able to make it up to the podium, and then they'll let him. What damage can he do then?
By the way, did you ever see his girlfriend?
Pete Rose's?
Yeah.
No.
You should see his girlfriend.
Really? I'll have to.
How he's alive at this point, I have
that may be the reason. That may be the reason.
I have
blood
no
flows.
idea.
Blood flowing. That's good blood flow.
I have
Circulation is good.
No idea. It's one of those. What's the name of the old coach for the Vikings?
Mike Zimmer. I saw his. I showed
you the
How
Mike
did
Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer get that girlfriend?
Right.
I mean, come on. My buddy, the Jersey guy.
Yes.
Hates Mike Zimmer. I think he's jealous of Mike Zimmer's girlfriend personally. She was but I didn't know that Pete Rose had the young woman.
The young woman.
In what?
He deserves the Hall of Fame just for that.
It looks too hard to believe.
Exactly.
You think it's Photoshop?
No. She's
Photoshop.
No, she's a good-looking woman, dude. No, she's.
I don't know what she looks like, but below her neck, I can tell. But that is a healthy woman. That's a different girl.
It's the same girl. It's just she's kind of
different color hair.
Yeah, the hair. That's all. She's a good-looking woman.
Oh, she's an attractive woman,
and she's probably less than half his age. And you're like,
it's
you're like, what is Pete Rose like?
Well, he's.
It's interesting. He wasn't a home run hitter as a player,
but he's a home run hitter after he retired. Listen, I think that's what's keeping him young.
That's his fountain of youth.
And so I'm going my story. He'll be old and feeble when he can just about crawl up there, and they won't worry about it, and he'll get it, and that's it.
No, he gets it.
Ta-dum-dum. On that note, make sure everybody comes out on Saturday.
All right, my brother.
And it's all good. And old and feeble he is. Pete Rose. I wasn't sure who else you were thinking.
Yes, he is.
Adios.
All right, Steve. There you go. The great Steve Calabro. Remember, open your account. You get the free, no regret, first bet, $100. Use the QR code there. And remember, if you already have a Hard Rock account, don't use the same email or phone number. Use a different one. That way you can get the free $100. All right, so take advantage of that. Caleb Martin sucks this year. No, I think Caleb Martin's gotten better, actually. He started injured. Dude, what sucks is the team right now. It's just there's nobody can carry the heat is the problem right now. So Jimmy Butler doesn't have the gas in the tank to go balls out in the regular season and then go balls out in the postseason anymore. He just doesn't have it anymore. He has to pace himself. And so then when Jimmy's sitting and he's not playing, or when he's playing but it's only like half-ass, somebody needs to take over. And they don't have that. What they have is a group of role players that they have to like take turns. So it's kind of like a lottery. And so every night you're hoping that a couple of role players have some, really decent nights and take the team to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not the reality. And because it's what I've been harping on for several seasons now, there's only one star on the team. There's nobody else that can strap it on and say, boys, here we go. Ride. Let's go. I'm going to lead the way. I'm going to score inside, outside. I'm going to set people up. I'm going to take over. I'm going to be the focal point of the offense because Jimmy ain't here. There's nobody like that. You just hope that Bam or Terry or Duncan Robinson or Caleb Martin or somebody gets hot that night, or a couple of guys get hot to kind of, absorb that offense. And that's where you're asking the coach to make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what, every single night, dude. And it's just not easy. What Eric Spoelstra's done for 4 straight years is just some of the greatest coaching I have ever seen in my life. And I've watched Shula do some shit that was special. Okay? I've watched Shula win with stuff that he's not supposed to win and do things he's not supposed to do. And Eric Spoelstra does the same shit. He is the carbon copy of Don Shula in the modern day. Just greatness out there constantly. And we're asking him again. And you know, check it out. We now have inherited this attitude. Oh, well, I guess they'll turn it on in the postseason. Why? Because it's 4 straight years of it. So we assume that that's what's going to happen. I am terrified of that assumption this year. Absolutely terrified of that assumption. Terrified of them playing in the play-in game. Terrified of thinking that they're going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals again or even the NBA Finals. It's almost like we're taking for granted what Eric Spoelstra and those players have done the last 4 years, which is just absolutely just sick, you know? So let's not overlook the real issues with this team. There is no star quality on it. And that's the real problem. And in the NBA, you got to be carried by stars, dude. They just have to carry the load every night. That's kind of the way it goes. And in the NBA, if you're going to be a really good team to make a deep run in NBA Finals, you're going to need multiple stars. You guys know that already. You've witnessed it. You need a couple of stars. And you need a star that if one guy's not on, the other guy will go, okay, no problem. I'll give you 30 tonight. Because you're not going to stop me. I'm going to score it, manufacture it, produce it, whatever it is. You're not stopping me. That's what a star does. And we don't have anyone like that on this team. Jimmy's the only one that resembles that. And it creates an imbalance. And I think it also creates an illusion that it misleads a lot of people on what the real reality is. So if you're sitting back assuming that you're going to get another deep run, I think you're setting yourself up for some real disappointment. Because this team has proven to you over and over, and Jimmy's proven it to you that I don't know what he's got left in the tank, but he certainly doesn't have a lot left because he himself is not even this is the worst regular season so far. It's gotten worse and worse and worse every year. He plays less and less games. And I'm not talking about just missing games. I'm talking about missing games and games that he plays that he just kind of goes through the motions. That he's really not Jimmy Butler. He's not Himmy. And if he's not that, they're not good every night. And if he's not that, they have no chance at being great. That's for damn sure. Forget good. You'll never, ever come close to great if he's not great every night. Because it's the only way, man. Look, I've watched this story in the NBA for many, many years. Mitch Richmond carrying the Sacramento Kings and running out of gas. I've watched it over and over again. Those teams that have the one star and they just don't have more than that. You know, Utah was like that with what's his name? The guy that went to Cleveland now. And they wanted to pair him with Garland and stuff because, he's there by himself. Because Gobert isn't a star. He's a defensive player. You know? So that happens all the time in this league. And you have one star, and one star is just Kevin Garnett. Carried the Timberwolves for several years, and then they finally traded him to the Celtics, where he then teamed up with Ray Allen, which they brought him from Milwaukee, and then obviously Paul Pierce, and then that's how you had your success. And with Wade, they got him Shaq. And Wade then also got LeBron and Bosh. And by the way, Ray Allen in himself is a Hall of Famer. May not have been like a superstar by the time you got him. He wasn't the Milwaukee Ray Allen. But Donovan Mitchell, exactly. So I've watched this story unfold all over the NBA for many, many years and many different decades. That when you have the one star, and he might be a one or he might be a two, or maybe he's a three at best. And it's just, it's not enough and never is going to be enough. And for this team to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals, it's an incredible blessing, ladies and gentlemen. But to think that that's going to be commonplace, yeah, no, I don't think so. Jimmy Zurich says OBJ is washed up. Didn't he average like 16 yards a catch last year? I think. Yeah, I wouldn't say washed up. That doesn't make any sense. What he isn't is a one or a two anymore. But he can be a very good number three for you, a complimentary piece, because that's what he's going to be. The problem is, Jimmy, a lot of you are thinking that they're signing him to big money and he's going to be like a featured receiver or something like that. And those days are done for Odell Beckham. This is going to be a $3.5 to $5 million deal plus incentives. And he's going to be like the fourth option on the team. It'll be Tyreek, Waddle, and Jonnu. And then he's going to be there with everybody else. So I think you're kind of looking at it the wrong way. And that's what happens with this talk of adding him. Why do you think he is now sitting and mulling offers? Because the offers are no longer, hey, here's double-digit salary, and we want you to be a big part of our offense. And those days are done. If you look at it, he really hasn't been injured much lately. He's actually been a decent person the last couple of years with the Rams and with the Ravens. And if you put him in a complementary role, it's actually a productive thing. I think it's a smart thing. You know what I mean? So that's the only way I want him, by the way, Jimmy. I don't want him for big money. I don't want him with a big responsibility because I don't think he's that guy anymore. But the other way, no, dude, I'm fine. I wanted to get something that I thought was kind of interesting. I wanted to look it up today. And, Tyreek has a $31 million cap hit this year in 2024. And he has a base of 19.6. In 2025, they have an out clause. And he has a base of 21.8 and a cap hit of $34K, right? Now, he 34 million, that is, by the way, I'm sorry. Now they could, there's an out, and because they didn't take extra money off of him, they could, like, this year would not be the smart year to take a dead cap hit. But next year, you could end up taking a cap hit, and this could be the last year for Tyreek. It is a possibility because if you think about it, they didn't get any money off his contract this year when they needed cap space. They're saving themselves for a lot of cap space next year. Maybe they're also anticipating to release him and take the hit that you have to take then, instead of, obviously now you can't take it because, some of you were kind of crazy after the latest issues and you're like, no, release him now, and you can't do that, or trade him because, and I'll walk you through it, his dead cap money is $66 million last year. This year, it's $53 million. But the potential out, since it was a 3-year, $73 million deal, it becomes $22 million dead cap hit next year. So I was telling you that Tyreek could be here 2 more years. Tyreek might be playing his final season with the Miami Dolphins this year because they've got to re-sign Waddle, Phillips. They've got to re-sign Tua. They've got to re-sign Holland. Okay? So they've got several players coming up. And next year, they've got an allotment of picks. So they could be going with a first round, second round wide receiver to then elevate Waddle to the number 1 spot, because his contract will then kick in the following year after that. The big money will kick in. Next year won't be big money. The following year will be big money. You take Tyreek off the books. So you take the cap hit instead of taking the chance and carrying him one more year and taking a cap hit and risking any kind of off the field issues. So for those of us that were kind of like myself, thinking that maybe it's 2 more years and they get out, the way I was looking at it this morning, Tyreek Hill could be playing his final season with the Miami Dolphins in 2024. And the Dolphins have to make tough decisions at times. And by the way, who's to say they don't release Tyreek? They re-sign Waddle, obviously, to a long-term contract. And they still go into free agency and find themselves another receiver for a 1-year deal to kind of fill the gap while the young receiver, the first rounder, second rounder, develops. Because if he develops quickly, great. If he doesn't, so a lot of you that were thinking about Tyreek, they could get out of it next year. It is the way it's structured, because the way they structured it, they can get themselves out of that cap hit next year. They'll take a hit, but it won't be catastrophic like it is this year. That is $53 million. It went 52, 66, and 53 the first 3 years. Now you're down to 22 and then 11. So if they want to, and they can make it a June 1st thing, where then they separate the two. And then it's 10 and a half one season and 10 and a half the other, and you kind of go on. And remember, the cap will go up probably somewhere in the 10 range. So do not be surprised if Tyreek Hill does not man his P's and Q's, as they say, and, does things the right way all year long. And if he has any more slip-ups, any more issues off the field, this could be Tyreek's last year. It is a possibility. And they will have the flexibility next year, because not only did they create flexibility for next year to re-sign their guys, but I think they created flexibility to maybe part ways with others. And I think Tyreek Hill, not that I know anything, but maybe he's kind of like on a double secret probation type of thing. They had their conversation with him. They had a conversation with the agent. The agent knows the cap situation, knows the contract situation. I'm looking at it right now. Guess what? It's one that you can get out of next year, especially on a June cut. So, microscope on this Tyreek situation over the next year. It's not simply about your production on the field. It's going to be your attitude and your behavior off the field, because there's an out. And they might feel that they're better off going in that direction. So keep an eye on drop passes this year. Keep an eye on drop touchdowns. And then keep an eye on off the field issues. Because if they continue, I can tell you they're getting out of it for sure after the 2024 season, because they have the window now. And this offseason sent the message when they needed cap space. They did not go to Tyreek's contract. So look out. Look out. This could be the last year for Tyreek Hill. Depends. Just something to look at, something to, Anyway. Let's see. Throw some void years and cut them after 2025. You don't want to build up too much of that void year stuff. Sorry, I'm working at the same time listening. I wait tables. Forgive me. We can use a big wide receiver, physical 3 guy. Yeah, but Jimmy, I totally agree with you. And thank you, bro, that you're actually working and you're a time corporate stealing weasel, which we love that. But here's the problem, dude. They gave him Gesicki. He doesn't use it. They gave him Claypool. He doesn't use it. He doesn't use the big receiver. And the Odell stuff, I brought it up because the guy just loves speed. And so I'm hearing in the building, and that's why I said, wow, Odell. And I'm not an Odell guy, but under those circumstances, I kind of get it. And the coach's love for I feel the need for speed. Did he not sign one of the 3 fastest tight ends? Does he not have 2 of the fastest backs in the NFL? Does he not have the 2 fastest receivers in the NFL? So are we shocked that he wants to get the fastest 3rd receiver that's available in the NFL right now? It's just, there's an MO. You know how I tell you with all the time, like people write or talk about stuff that's inaccurate with Chris Greer. Oh, he's going to do this and that. And I'm like, do you see his track record? Like, look what he does. Like, and I explain it to you all the time, right? Like, he tells you what he's going to do pretty much. Like, look at habitually what his decisions are. Same thing here. You know, just look at the situation. So, anyway, he just doesn't use the big receiver. You give it to him, you give it to him, you give it to him. Gesicki caught 70 balls with Brian Flores and his crappy staff, and Gesicki can't get the time of day the last 2 teams he's been on. It's the most screwed up thing in the world. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, they can't get separate. Oh, come on, bro. Let's go. People can get separation. If you're good route runners, you can do it. Let's go. Let's not just be in love with one guy. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, waddle a little bit. Let's spread the ball around a little bit more. Let's do a better job. That's all. Anyway, so thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate you out there as always. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin donation too. As always, like Ocala Joe, thank you, sir, for making a donation. As always, we appreciate it. As for Bitcoin, by the way, where are we at? Stuck in the, pretty much 70,894. I just, tell everybody, and I remind you, don't get frustrated. We were stuck in the 60s and stuck in the 50s and stuck in the 40s and stuck in the 30s and stuck in the 20s and stuck in the teens. So it always busts out. It's just consolidation. Nothing but normal activity overall. So anyway, we are out of here. We thank Michelle Kaufman. We thank, of course, Steve Calabro, of course, Mr. John Brunetti Jr., and the Brunetti family, always great supporters of our platform. We appreciate it. We thank all the great people out here in the second floor making it nice and easy for us to broadcast. We will see you tomorrow morning. We'll be at Acura of Pembroke Pines at 10 a.m., bright and early for you all out there. And David Feronis will be joining us. Manny Navarro will be joining us tomorrow on the program. You all be good out there. Have a great one.